What's up, Boogey Lights fans? Taylor here. Today we're going to be taking a look at this 2010 45-foot Tiffin Zephyr. This is a custom multicolor installation on just his slide outs. So this customer will be able to combine both slide outs on one controller. That way he has the ability to independently control just his awnings, as well as independently control just the underglow of his slide outs. So what we did is we were able to route all four of these power leads back to one area. That way he has one controller to power everything. So our first step on the underglow for a slide out, and the same thing for the top, what you're going to do is you are going to prep the surface. So you are going to take our alcohol wipes that come in your kit. You are going to find where you want to mount that light to. Now, for these slide outs, we really recommend coming all the way in that you can, because this will be going in and it will be pushing up against this rubber right here. So if you got your lights right here, you can see he's got some nick marks already on the bottom of this slide out. So if you put your lights right there, chances are they're going to get crushed. So if we put them all the way at the edge like we did here, there was no marks, no, nothing like that on the edge here. So we knew that that would be a safe place to put these lights. So what we did is we went ahead and took our alcohol, wiped that surface down real good with your alcohol. Then step 2 is going to be our 3M promoter. It comes in a little capsule about this big. You squish the center fuse and the brush will get wet. Then you will take that and you will wipe that brush all the way down where you want to put your lights. Step 3 then is going to be to take the actual lights themselves. You're going to peel that 3M backing, and very carefully you're going to slowly stick your lights up to exactly where you want them. Now step 4 with the wiring, it can be a little tricky, but it's going to be the same for most of these slide outs. We went ahead and we took our awning slide out there, and you can see we wrapped the cable around the back side of the slide out, and then we used our wire tie mounts. Stick those wire tie mounts down, and then you will wire tie the wire to the back side of the awning, or the slide out here, excuse me, and you'll follow that wire all the way down. And then we did the same thing for the bottom. We routed the bottom up, so the awning came down, then we routed the slide out underglow up. And then you follow that right to where we drilled a small hole in the side of the slide out to run our power leads in. After you've run your power leads in, you can fill that hole with some Lexel or some other type of waterproof sealant to keep out the elements there. And then we actually ran this wire in and over and then down. So when you're doing something like this, you always want to go inside first and really make sure you know where you're going to be running these wires. So for this instance, we knew that we measured and we needed to be about 14 to 15 inches from the bottom of this slide in order to be able to reach back in there and grab that wire that's coming through. So you'll see the same exact thing for the second slide here. This one we knew that we only needed to be a couple inches off the bottom, but exact same procedure for both of those slides. You'll want to put a final wire tie right here to kind of keep those wires as flush as possible against that. Once this slide does go in, you got, maybe 2 to 3 inches where that is going to go inside and rub against that rubber right there. But you can actually take your fingers and get in there and feel that you've got a little bit of room there. So this wire actually doesn't touch anything else besides that rubber, which is exactly what you want. You want to keep any metal or pressure off of that wire, from coming in and out. If it is pressing against the metal, it will eventually cut that wire. So make sure you know exactly where you're going to be drilling that hole, so that way you avoid any scenarios such as that. And as I was saying, this customer wanted both of these slide outs on one controller. So what we did is we actually ran inside, over, and then down for the first gallery slide here. It ended up, what we did is we found where some of our wires were already coming down. We looked, we saw that wires were coming down here, and then right above this is the bathroom. So we knew that there was going to be some piping coming down. We actually took like a copper fish wire and stuck it up right up through there. There's a lot of insulation foam, and then if you have somebody on the other side, as you're pushing that up, you'll see it come out the top. So we pulled it from the other side, and then we ended up taping our lights to that fish wire and pulling it back down through here. And then we ran it down the side here and ended up having to drill a small hole in the bottom of his coach right here, which then runs all the way to the rear of the rig. So as you see underneath, our wires come out right here. We ran them across and onto the actual chassis itself, and then ran that all the way down to the left over the axle, and then to the rear of the rig where we decided to mount the actual controller module, which is right in here. So that was for the first slide. For the second slide, we noticed that we had all this wiring right here coming out. So we did the same procedure. We took some copper wire or any sort of fishing wire and stuck it up through that insulation foam. Had somebody on the other side, you saw it come through, was able to pull that up, and then we were able to tape our wiring to that and pull it back down through. All right, so now that we're in the motor coach, we're going to show you exactly how we wired these through here. Just a brief summary real quick, as they do come in through the back, and we actually run them into the bathroom to where there is a stationary pipe running down below the coach. And then for the rear, we did the exact same thing. We ran the wire into the back bathroom, also where there's a stationary pipe that runs down to the bottom. So if you come take a look at this, you will notice they have a big clunk of wires right here. Now that is what all the wires that are running to this slide is. So they already gave these wires enough room for the slide to move in and out of here. Our wires come in all the way in the rear back there. We just fed enough wire through to where we were able to reach our hands back there and grab them. And then we wire tied them right there. That's our two wires right there. So they go around this loom right here, and then they go through the floor here and into the bathroom on the other side. So we just had to remove these drawers that you're looking through right here. Pretty simple. And then we ran a fish wire down through there, and then someone else was in the bathroom to where they were able to find it coming through. And we tied our light strips to that and pulled our wires through. So when you get into the bathroom, you open up the bottom here. We had to just pull out this back board that they had there. And then you'll see all the wiring here for the hot water heater. And then ours actually go down right there. It's hard to tell, but when you're down underneath the coach, you stick a copper wire or something up, and it poked right through right there. So then we tied our lights to that, and we pulled them back down through the bottom of the coach. Now for the rear slide here, same concept as the front. We removed his bottom drawer here, and then you actually got a little better visibility on this one. You'll see where our wires come in right there. So we brought our wires in. We give them a little extra room here for the slide to move. Wire tied it to their bundle of wires. And then we had to remove this this piece right here, this molding, pulled that off, and then ran our wires right through there with the rest of the molding. And then they go right underneath this door here. You'll see this brush. That is what allows this wire loom to kind of move. It moves through back and forth in this brush as that slide comes in and out, which then led right into the bathroom in here. You just remove some of the cabinetry here, and you'll actually be able to see right there, you'll see those pipes, those stationary pipes that I was talking about. We did the same procedure here. We pushed a copper wire up through, and it poked out right there. We tied our lights to it, and then we pulled them right down through there. So that's how we were able to get the rear slide down to the floor, and that's also how we were able to get the front slide down to the floor. And then we just ran our wires underneath the bottom of the coach and met them back in that same spot back there where we were able to connect all of them together and put them on one controller. So that is pretty much it for our slide out awning and underglow lighting here on this 2010 Tiffin Zephyr. Everything you see here was done in-house in Florence, Kentucky at Boogey Lights. Give us a call and get lit up today.